I'm so sorry.
Just killed a man
With the power of karate
against his head.
and my foot,
My trigger, now he's dead.
killed him with my foot. You gave birth to a ninja.
Just begun.
Now they're locking up my feet.
Now I've gone and thrown it all away.
I also hit him with some nunchucks.
It's really hard for me to interrupt this. Y'all, welcome back to Play Casual. Tonight, we're going to talk about the Goldbergs tonight because I am hooked because these two idiots got me into it. And so you're going to want to stick around for another Fly Casual. Let's get into it. Fly Casual.
Woo! Let's get ready to wrinkle!
I feel like a dang criminal talking over that high art.
Yeah.
Were you a smooth criminal?
No, I don't feel that smooth right now. Actually,
Annie, are you okay?
I meant to actually replenish my my drugs before I came down, but I forgot. So I apologize if I suddenly get unhigh in the middle of this episode.
He's gonna get real sad real quick.
You start crying.
Well, they've also got me on the steroids now too. So if I come down off the roids, then I'm just gonna start throwing stuff.
You're like Howie's wife just busts through a wall.
Start Kool-Aid manning through every surface in his house.
I need some new doors here pretty soon.
Yeah, you know, I do need some new doors. That's good. It's a good thing. It's a good change. Welcome, everybody, back to Fly Casual. I'm your host, Mr. Corey T. Wilson. With me on my left is still the absence of Michael. Somehow, a week later, still on that plane. We hope. We hope. Well, it could be a Malaysian Air kind of thing. We don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah.
He's going to come back with superpowers.
Yeah, we don't know if he's going to land good or if he landed bad. We don't know. We don't know. They're still looking. They're still waiting
Still
for him to come
digging
down.
up in that. No.
Yep.
Mm.
Yep.
The aliens got him.
Aliens did get him.
The alien or aliens?
Ooh, there's a creepy movie I can watch with the kid.
Good thing the TSA loosened up his butt.
No, the
It's like, really?
the Fire in the
Langoliers?
Sky.
Oh, Fire in the Sky.
Fire in the Sky.
I'm going Langoliers with that one.
Yeah, no.
That's a good song there.
Fire in the Sky,
Dean
the Travis
Stockwell.
Walton story.
That's got a Terminator in it.
Yes, it does have a Terminator in it. That is correct. And an FBI agent.
Let's not talk about that.
Yeah, nobody remembers that fondly.
That was terrible.
Yeah. Have you ever seen Fire in the Sky, Howie?
No, I don't think
Based
so.
on a true story.
Says
And I'm not
you.
even making quotey fingers.
Says you.
I am.
I read about Fire in the Sky. I read about Travis Walton in one of and remember, okay, kids, memory lane. And this is in honor of tonight's episode. I'm going to take you back to the 80s.
Are we going to talk about the Waltons?
Okay. No, we're not going to talk about the Waltons because is that the 80s? That's like 70s, isn't it?
Anyway. I watched it in the 80s.
I was going to say, everything from the 50s through the 80s was the 80s for me. You know, let's talk about, talk about Andy Griffith's show. But back then, before we all had the internet, you had to learn weird things. We didn't have the closest thing to BuzzFeed we had back then was Time Life books. And you'd get these commercials that would come on and be like, like Alien Encounters, a new series from Time Life books.
They touch your butt.
It's like basically like little like micro sets of like mini encyclopedias, like miniature encyclopedias about weird topics, because where else are you going to get it? You're going to go to the library? Yeah. No, you're too fat and stupid. Call this number now.
Rent a VCR, watch a video.
Yeah, exactly.
Forget about it.
Yeah, you're gonna read. Forget about it. And so I remember I had my hands. I don't think my parents ever let me order Time Life books, but some way I had my hands on one of these, and I read about the Travis Walton story, and I was like, wow, it's really cool. This dude, was abducted by aliens, stuff like that. And then a month later, and again, I don't know how I heard this, because again, you didn't know what movies were coming out back then unless you read Variety, and no one read Variety outside of LA, right? Or New York.
Or you had a newspaper.
Well, I mean, yeah, if there happened to be a write-up about it, but somehow I heard that they were actually making a movie out of it. And I was like, whoa.
Garrick, he's talking about ahead of time, not what's playing now.
Yeah. I'm talking about before. Like I read that it was that they were making the movie. And so like I told my dad for months, I'm like, when it comes out, you have to take me to see it. You have to take me to see it. And we did. Went and saw it on opening night. The Fire in the Sky, Travis Walton story. That movie, I mean, it's probably a little cheeseball at this point, but that movie, you know, it's got some intense moments. I might watch that one with the kid. That's a good one. Yeah. And also Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh.
Yeah.
That may be the first Tommy Lee Jones I ever saw.
What
I'm not
about
sure.
Jamie Lee
JFK.
Presley?
No, Jamie Presley.
About JFK.
I can't remember which came first. It was either JFK or that. It would have been my first Tommy Lee Jones, I think. I did see JFK in theaters too. I was probably the only
What about Men in
10-year-old
Black?
in there. What's that?
That had aliens. Men in Black. That had Tommy Lee.
Yeah,
Jones.
that was
aliens.
That was quite a bit later. That
was a
was
sequel, right?
quite a bit later. You know, I find it weird that now in 2 episodes in a row we've mentioned a property to which I used to know the entire choreography to the theme song. Last week was Thriller. This week it's Men in Black. Just walk with it. You gotta do the fist. Your little fist. You're like grating cheese with your fist where you slide back and forth. Not slide. Okay.
Yeah.
I only do the leprechaun dance. That's where I end. My dance skills begin and end at the
Is that where you just like
leprechaun
put your you snap your fingers over your head and go tighty. Is that?
Yep. No, I don't even go that far. Just move my arms back and forth.
Good enough. But where you wandered just past Mike's seat over Master Control, Mr. Stephen J. Howie.
There is a mess of chords over here.
There is. I could not believe it when I came down here after not being down here for 4 weeks. 4 weeks. And there is still 28% battery life left on the Sound of Control iPad, which is a 3rd gen iPad. It is ancient and it only serves the purpose of sound control. It used to play our warm-up music before we record the podcast, but the YouTube app doesn't work anymore. It's not even supported. This thing is so ancient, and we've just got this one old soundboard app that's all it's for.
All it does.
And it still had 28% battery, even though it was unplugged, because for some reason, you guys in my absence saw fit to plug in a computer cable that wasn't plugged into anything else.
Well, I think what
It
I
actually
think
may have been
I'm
plugged in while I was building computers.
trying to remember, but I'm thinking Mike needed some power, and we're like, well, there's that. And then I think he attempted to plug in what was plugged in before.
Oh, that makes more sense.
But grabbed a different cable that was down there.
Similar thickness, 3-pronged cable, but not plugged into anything.
Yeah.
And
So,
somehow this thing was
I'm
alive.
remembering it a little clearer-ish.
Yeah, you can see clearly now.
Well, you know.
Rain is gone.
Clouds have gone. Rain's gone.
It's still there, but
It's going to be a bright,
bright.
sunshiny day. Thank you. I was not going to finish until someone swung in with that second bright.
Yeah.
So, and across the pond down a few is Mr. Garrick, not Jay Hardy.
Hey,
That's
me.
Hey.
I'm here.
Yeah,
I'm
don't
here.
touch me.
Don't touch me.
Da-da-da-da.
Da-da-da-da.
Don't touch me.
Don't touch me.
Give me a knife.
God, I feel so bad for anybody who has no idea what the hell that is. Which may be
There's
most people. I don't
a
know.
lot of people.
Yeah, it may be most listeners are going, they do that a lot. I don't know what's wrong with them.
Featuring the Braxter.
Yeah, it's the Brecker here.
Now you got to do the monkey.
Oh, never trust a monkey.
There we go.
Never trust a monkey. Do your homework.
Mom always said, I told you never trust a monkey.
I want a banana. Eek, eek.
Sure, I'll
I
eat
got
that
it.
whole jar of mayonnaise. For sure, I'll eat that bug for a whole jar of mayonnaise. That's what it was.
Man, they don't make them like they used to.
I
Tell you
don't think
what.
anyone ever made anything like they did that. The closest thing that came to the offbeat humor of Space Ghost Coast to Coast was Aqua Teen Hunger Force, which aired right after it on the early Adult Swim.
Meatwad.
Yeah, and
Got a
of
tattoo.
course,
It's a clown.
you know, that was
Represents gang
original
warfare.
animation and stuff, original cheap animation, but the fact
Like
that they
each
were able
character
to
had
do
like
what,
5 frames.
yeah, exactly. But the fact
Especially
that they
the
were
moon people.
able to, yeah, the Moonanites. You
Well, that's
should
great.
give him
Who
the
wrote the
finger.
moon
Yeah,
rules
flip him
on
the
my
bird
car?
and smoke while you are doing it. Yeah, we smoke when we flip the bird.
It's not really stealing if you really want it.
Pass out the free cigarettes.
Oh, you think that's a straight 6? I've got a straight 6.
All right, who painted the moon rules on the side of my car? It wasn't us.
You're in my pool without my permission.
Man, the first couple seasons of that show were just amazing. But the fact that they made Space Ghost Coast to Coast out of old animation cells from this old Hanna-Barbera cartoon that I barely remember.
Used like 5.
Yeah, right. But that's the thing. Look at all the content they made out of just those few frames of animation. It was just amazing. Amazing. My favorite episode was still the first one with Bjork, where Bjork was on, but instead of being the guest that he's interviewing, it's his wife who won't leave him alone while he's at work. And so they've got it edited. Of course, Bjork has no idea what's going on. I don't know how they recorded these celebrity interviews, but they just edited this whole story together where she was his wife who's out of her mind that keeps calling him at work. And he's like, he's getting all pissed off. And everything that comes out of Bjork just sounds insane. It's so good. So good. But we're going to be taking a lot of walks down memory lane tonight because tonight we're talking about the Goldbergs.
The Goldbergs.
Current television program on the ABC network.
The baby ABC.
Yes.
One of the last good network TV shows.
How many network television shows do you currently watch?
That's the one.
4.
We still watch Modern
5?
Family, but it's just kind of like a habitual limping to the barn because they don't do anything new anymore.
Right.
They found their rut and they live there.
6.
Yeah.
But it's still good for a chuckle.
Man, you 6? Really?
I watch. Okay, here we go. I don't know. I'll have to count them. Let's see. The Goldbergs.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Schooled, which is a spinoff.
Okay, I'm going to be watching another one because I want to watch that.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's true.
The Good Place.
Yeah.
And they're in their
Survivor.
last season now, right? Or it's getting ready to start? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Survivor.
Yep.
The Amazing Race. And I think that's it. How many was that?
I'm about with you there.
Yeah, the first 4 you named are 3 that I'm watching and 1 that I'm going to start watching. So there you go, 4. There's another one that I'm not accounting for, but I don't think so.
Yeah. Survivor.
The first thing I say when someone says,
Survivor.
"Hey, there's this new show you should watch," I'm like, "Oh, what service is it on?" Because I assume it's not on a network. I really do.
Yeah.
It's not
true.
where I look for quality.
Yeah.
That's where the good TV is.
Mm-hmm.
Streaming services. Yeah.
And more to come. We're getting so close to Samantha.
Now, who does that know? Who does that noise? Yeah. Winnie the Pooh?
Yeah, I
That's
suddenly
Tigger.
could not think of it to save my life. Yeah, Tigger. That's right. Oh, Bob.
Tigger's got to bounce.
Mm-hmm. Y'all watch Christopher Robin movie?
No.
It's aight.
I tried.
It's aight. It's not great, but it's aight.
He kind of thought like the Dark Crystal that you thought of that thing.
Well,
Yeah. That's my Dark Crystal.
it's slow. I mean, but Winnie the Pooh. Any Winnie the Pooh is slow.
I was never big into Winnie the Pooh because of that reason.
I kind of wasn't. I wasn't either. But like I've talked before about how very little exposure I had to most Disney animation until Beauty and the Beast came out. I didn't see many Disney movies at all. You know, notwithstanding like the old like Kurt Russell films and stuff like when he was a kid, you know, like Teenage Computer or whatever the crap that was called, like some of those old live action ones. But Disney animation was not a big presence in my family at all. So when I would catch some, like at school or something, and they play Winnie the Pooh, I would pay attention because I never got anything like that. And Winnie the Pooh is a very slow moving thing in general.
He's a fluffy something Winnie the Pooh.
Garrick always nails all the theme songs, man. He didn't even do that to the tune of Perfect Strangers.
I have the approximate knowledge of all themes.
Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh.
He's a fluffy little something bear. Rise and fall, sorry.
He
Anyway.
likes honey.
But before we get into that, it's time to talk about what's on the docket, business.
Docket. Docket.
Secret City season 2.
Secret City?
I
What?
talked about this like a couple weeks ago.
I don't listen to episodes I'm not on. Why would I? What's in it for me?
Secret City.
So I watched,
It's not like I haven't had time.
so I went and started watching this show called Secret City. I watched the first season and I've now finished the second season.
Dang, look at you.
And, man, it's a political Australian political almost kind of an analog to House of Cards, but from a perspective.
Oh, you brought this up before. Because I do remember you
Yes,
talking about
and yeah.
Oh,
So
it's more
got
kangaroos.
oh, maybe it was more than a couple weeks ago. I thought, yeah, but yeah, it's it's good. It's good.
How many kangaroos are in it?
I would say 0, but I'm not 100% sure.
Name.
It takes
How
place.
many wallabies?
How many babies are eaten by dingoes?
Ooh.
All.
Okay, good.
Oh,
So
perfect.
at least it's scientifically accurate.
Yes. So
Absolutely.
I don't know how they procreate and maintain their level of population, but
well,
all
I'll
the babies
explain it
get
to
eaten.
you when you're older.
You ever watch The Modern Family when they went to Australia?
Yeah.
And they spent the whole episode building up to a dingo ate my baby. And she yells out like that big dog just walked away with the project I've been working on. Instead of, because she calls the project her baby the whole time.
Yeah.
She goes, that big dog just took my project over working on. And Ariel Winters walked by and goes, sounds like a missed opportunity. I was like, okay, that was worth it. That was worth
Nailed
it.
it. That's
Yeah.
a Seinfeld reference, by the way.
It was?
yes,
What
Could
is?
Dango ate my baby.
Dingo ate
It's
your
not a
baby.
Seinfeld reference.
Oh,
Seinfeld
it totally is Seinfeld reference.
Seinfeld tagged
Seinfeld.
on to
You're
this. This is actually a real
You're
life
wrong.
thing.
You're wrong.
There's a real life thing where
Seinfeld
But
did
they
it.
made it popular.
this woman got arrested because they believe
That
that
Seinfeld.
she
happened during
killed
the
her baby.
Seinfeld era,
Yeah, she
and
heard
they
about
made it
Seinfeld.
capitalized on it.
Oh, okay, that could be.
And then they said, the Dango ate my baby.
Dingo ate my baby.
And that's where that came from.
Fair enough.
Sound like Forrest Gump a little bit.
Yep.
Can't sit here,
Life's like a dingo. You never know what's
Well,
going to eat.
baby.
What's her
Go eat your
name?
baby.
I don't know how you go from unattractive to attractive to hot as you age, like she has.
Who, Ariel Winters?
The Seinfeld
Wow.
chick.
Oh, yeah. No, Julie Louis-Dreyfus is
Julie
breaking all
Louis-Dreyfus.
the rules. I wouldn't say she was unattractive.
No,
But,
but-
she wasn't like, wow, she's attractive. She was just like, there's a woman. She's
Under all that
a
clothing.
TV, yeah, underneath those massive shoulder pads. She was a TV5.
Yeah.
A TV5 in real life is like an 8 or a 9, right? But on TV, she was a 5. And every year she gets older, she gets more gorgeous. And it bothers me too. Because
I
I'm
don't
like, wait a
understand.
minute. Most of the older actresses that I think are hot are because I thought they were hot when I was young. And I'm just carrying it with me. We're aging together.
Yeah.
You know, but Julie Louis-Dreyfus is like, God dang, you are gorgeous
Yeah.
on top of being brilliant and hilarious. Like even on Veep, I'm just like, what the heck is going on? None of it looks unnatural in any way.
No, she looks completely natural.
and it's just like, man, there have got to be a lot of people in your profession who hate your guts because they're trying so hard to do what you're just doing. I don't know how hard she has to work at it. I'm sure she, works at keeping in shape and stuff like that. But it's not just that. Her face just gets prettier all the time. What's wrong with that? Everything.
Why are we doing a Seinfeld episode right now?
I don't know.
Who are these people?
She should be getting older. She's not getting older. But she's not getting younger. She's just getting more attractive.
Why don't you tell me the movie you want to
What's
watch?
the deal with Julia Louis-Dreyfus being attractive? She is. She's gorgeous.
Welcome to Movie Phone.
That was a great episode.
Seinfeld jokes. I'm going back to sick bed. Like I said,
I'm out.
I'm just now. See, there's an episode I've seen. I have
got that
tried.
one.
That's why I did this.
I don't
They
remember
don't show that episode anymore.
how
I
many
don't think.
times. Oh man, I'm still catching up on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and I'm like. And this show's been on like, I don't know, like 12, 14 seasons, right? And I'm watching the show going, oh my God, they could not do this now. These are like standard definition,
Yeah, right.
you know what I mean? And I'm like, oh my, she does an amazing impression of like a Rosie Perez, like Latina person, but she's sitting there doing it in brown face. And I'm like, and now the saving grace is all of them are completely deplorable in every way. It's like Eric Cartman. The brilliance is that Eric Cartman can say and do things that no one else can do because you understand he's awful.
Yeah.
Well, everybody on It's Always Sunny is awful and has like almost no redeeming qualities. But I'm still looking at this going, there's no way they could do this now at all. I'm not even defending it then, except the fact that she was good at it. You know what I mean? It's still, I was just like, oh my God, I felt guilty watching it.
Yeah.
But they're all horrible in every way. Oh my God. You ever watch that show?
Nope.
Garrick, you watch It's Always Sunny?
I might have caught an episode. Maybe.
Oh my Lord.
Danny
And also,
DeVito's in that, right?
yeah. He came in at the end of season 1 or 2 or something like that. His grandkids or his kids or grandkids convinced him to be on the show. And I don't think he was going to be a permanent character, but he just decided to hang around. The funny thing about him is that two of the 4 mains, they're twins. A guy and a girl, and he's their father, but you come to find out that he's not their biological father, even though, you know, when they were raised with him as their father is actually the dad from Seventh Heaven because his mom cheated on him. But then he moves in with their friend played by Charlie Day, and Charlie Day looks at him as a father figure and then comes to find out that he also slept with Charlie Day's character's mother earlier. And so he's like, maybe you're my dad. He's like, I'm not your dad. And he finds out that, yes, his mother did get pregnant when she cheated with him, and it was around the time, but he's like, no, she got an abortion. That doesn't, she doesn't. She goes, yeah, but it didn't take. He's like, what? And she's like, you just persevered. You survived the abortion. It's like, I'm just like, oh, so it's funny because he's part of the gang. He was the father of these 2 characters, but he's not really their father, but he actually is the father of this other character. That show is insane. Insane. I will never recommend it to anybody. Ever.
Don't watch it.
Ever. Don't watch it, but it's brilliant. Oh my gosh.
It didn't take.
But it didn't take. I was like, oh my God, am I really? Oh, hopefully no one's keeping a record of what I'm watching. I say in my best church lady voice.
Oh, Sancho is.
Ah, yes. Yes. He's keeping close tabs.
Yes.
He knows.
Someone's got to update the bingo card. I'm just saying.
He's the all ever seeing eye.
Mm-hmm. So where are we at? What are we doing? We're doing the docket.
It's Garrick's turn. You just went.
My
I kind of
turn.
did.
Yeah, you went. You went.
I went everywhere. All over the place.
So I'm excited about. You're gonna love this, guys. You're gonna love it.
Dark Crystal 2.
No, already did that one. I can't do it again unless we want to do a whole episode on it.
I would be willing to put the effort in. Like I said, I want to love it so bad.
Like Chamberlain.
Look, I'm running. Look how I'm running.
You're just kind of hopping.
But I'm also wiggling my arms out in the front.
Oh yeah.
See that? See how the arms are wiggling?
That's how you know that they're running.
That's how Kermit runs.
Yeah.
It was funny when it's Kermit. It's comedic.
This is a Muppets prequel, like way in the past. This is like where the Muppet world comes from. I'm putting that into canon now.
I'm listening. I love me some Muppets.
That's all I got. Anyway, what I've been tweaking on is there.
No, it's not tweaking. You're not tweaking.
I know. We totally bastardize it every time.
Tweaking.
The docket, you're tweaking.
You're dockerizing.
Oh, I'm docketing.
Dockicizing or
you're
dockerating.
You're docking to the oldies.
Docking to the oldies. So I've been watching a brand new anime.
Oh boy.
I know I don't bring them up because a lot of people don't have access to anime streaming services like I do.
Yeah, look at you. You're the only subscriber to Crunchyroll.
Oh, yeah. Crunchyroll and Funimation. Yeah, so a new one just came out, and it's actually started premiering on what is it called? Toonami. They brought Toonami back.
How many words are in the title?
2.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
And
That's because it just
one
started.
of them shortened.
Yeah, 6 seasons from now, it'll be like Budokai Zen Master GoPro 40 XT6.
Yeah. It's just called Dr. Stone.
That's
the title.
A very simple name for an anime series.
Stone.
Yeah, Dr. Stone. So the
He's
reason
got
I bring
really
this
big
up,
round eyes.
it's a great. I love the
They
premise.
like to glow.
They do. They glow with the power of science. So the basic plot of this is so something happened in the world one day that turned everybody to stone. And then like everybody stayed they basically turned them to stone statues.
Mm-hmm.
And then 3,000 years later,
In
one of the kids, I guess hatches from the stone, and he's been aware of time passing for all this time. It was like, he's been aware for 3,700 years that he's trapped in stone. And so he's kind of trapped in his own mind. And he's like this genius scientist kid. So he figures out how to break people out of these stones to hatch them like he did. And he wants to create a brand new society. But since he's such a scientific genius, he wants to fast forward civilization as fast as he possibly can. Like he wants to get millions of years. So he unfreezes a few more people. But one of the other guys is he has a different view. Like he wants to go around and bust up all the stone people of the old people, because he's more of like, okay, it's out with the old. We need to forget
he's like a eugenics guy or something.
Yeah, basically, he's like a mass murderer. So he's busting all these statues of the old people. It's like they've tried to rule us. They were terrible. So we're gonna start this brand new world order again. There's a lot of stuff that goes down. It's kind of like, I love Civilization, the game. Let's admire Civilization.
Yeah.
So he basically breaks down a tech tree. Like he wants to get electricity, right?
Yeah.
So he breaks down this tech tree of what he needs. So he goes around and
now this is scary because I actually think through these types of scenarios sometimes.
Yeah, it's great because the science in it is sound. Like it's real science. Like he goes around and finds different chemicals and stone in nature, and he combines them to make new things.
Building some magnetos.
He makes magnets. He finds all this stuff to like advance civilization just a little bit farther.
Yeah.
So that's the part I really like. Is just him.
So what, he's trying to like get the world back up to speed before they unstone more people, so that it's not like a glut of people stuck in the Stone Age, so to speak.
Yeah.
So he kind of wants to get the forward momentum going so they can absorb people a little at a time or something.
Yeah. And the chemical he needs to like unstone people takes a really, really, really long time to create.
Okay.
Because it involves like fermentation of alcohol and all this other stuff. Mm-hmm. So he's trying to get to a faster way to mass produce that as well. But yeah, he
needs to call up the guy from Moonshine, that Moonshine show. Yeah, because he figured out how to make like 10, 20 year whiskey in like a day or something.
Yeah, that's true. It's pretty cool because eventually, I don't know if you want to spoil it, but he comes across other people that have been unfrozen but they've been unfrozen for like hundreds of years.
Oh, wow.
And they've had this whole civilization that's still like it's kind of like a Stone Age village.
Yeah.
So he's trying to figure out the mystery of how they were kind of resurrected hundreds of years before.
Maybe Sam Beckett leaped into one of them.
I will give this,
Could be.
Garrick, I'm going to give this to you. This premise sounds really interesting.
It is. That's the reason I watched it.
How annoyed am I going to get with the style?
Oh, terribly annoyed.
Oh, dang it.
I watch a lot of animation. The animation is subpar, I guess. No. And there's and
you're coming at it from an anime standpoint.
It's decent. It's very like heavily blocked, which I don't like. And there's a lot of the typical crazy anime faces and stuff.
Yeah,
that I know. Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of tropes in there. So yeah, other than that, I love it.
That sounds like a really interesting story.
On in Cartoon Network.
Got you to start watching Goldberg. So
I don't know. Anime's already been a much longer battle. Much longer. That war's been dragging on for decades.
Oh yeah.
So all right, cool. Cool beans.
speaking of war,
Speaking of war, it's time for some news, I
Star
guess.
Wars? Oh.
News?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
Well, boys,
Yes, Mike,
Mike?
not Mike.
we actually don't have much on the news docket,
The news
but
docket.
what we do have
The nipple tweaking
is
news.
going to be interesting. Garrick is laughing because he knows.
I don't. I haven't read.
how
I didn't read
interesting this will
thoroughly.
be.
Yeah.
Do you guys like Birds of Prey?
Like the
Like
The CW
Star
show
Trek-
that didn't last very long.
The Star Trek Birds of Prey.
Oh, a Klingon bird of prey?
Yeah,
yeah.
Not
I
to be
like them.
confused with like the Romulan warbird.
right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally different.
Now there wait.
Romulan warbirds
There
way
were
bigger.
were there Klingon warbirds and Romulan warbirds, or were there birds of prey that both of them had? Because didn't the Romulans and the Klingons have like the same class of ship that was slightly different?
No.
Is this before or
Okay.
after Red Matter?
Is this original? Original?
Yeah, I'm talking Prime.
Oh, yeah. They were Klingon birds of prey. They were like they had the.
Well, the birds of prey is the smaller class. Like a bird of prey is a small scale, like capital class vessel. It's not very big, like compared to like a Constitution class.
They have a lot of.
So they flew around in Star Trek 4. That was a bird of prey.
Yeah. It's not a very large ship. But they had the Klingons had a larger class that I believe
the warbird.
was the warbird, but there's also Romulan warbirds that are just slightly different, right?
Yeah, the Romulan warbird is. Yeah, different.
Okay.
It's huge.
I just
It's
remember
bigger
like
than the
both of them
Enterprise.
had a warbird. I just wanted to be
Yeah.
sure.
Well, just so you know, guys, this discussion
Has nothing to do with that.
nothing, but is a lot more interesting to
I know.
me
Maybe we should just stay here.
than this news item.
Let's talk about Star Trek ships. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll talk about
because
Star Trek
this
ships on
is
Island.
actually a
Galaxy-class
trailer for a movie that who asked for.
I don't know. People who thought Margot
Mike
Robbie
did.
deserved a better shot.
So what is this movie, Garrick?
Birds of Prey. Wait, no, that's
We
not
know
what-
that.
The whole
It's
title.
called the Harley Quinn movie.
The Harley
right?
Quinn movie. The Harley Quinn vehicle. Was it
I
what
think they changed.
the phantasmalicious approximation of one Harley Quinn or whatever?
Yeah, they changed the title because they used to have a nonsense word in there, and then they changed it to a real word.
Well, really, what is it now?
Question.
It was seriously something like it was Birds of Prey : the like bodacialicious, like some stupid word that we would say ironically.
Yeah. Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of one Harley Quinn.
So what is it now?
Wow.
Oh, maybe they kept it the same. Oh, I thought they changed it one promo shot. I thought they just changed it to Fabulous.
Or just wackadoo. The wackadoo emancipation
yeah.
of one Harley Quinn.
You got Margot
So
Robbie
it's butt.
as Harley Quinn, of course, in the DC universe.
And then a bunch of other people.
Yeah, you got Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Huntress.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Jumi Smollett Bell as Black Canary.
Mm-hmm.
Rosie Perez is Renee Montoya, who's a
I do like
comic
Rosie Perez.
character. She's a police officer. You got Chris Messina as Victor Zsasz. Remember Zsasz?
Yeah, because in the Arkham Asylum games, Zaz scared the piss out of me.
He's a scary
Just
dude.
like answering his phone calls. I was like, I don't want to. You could just pass on this one, Batman. You don't
Yeah.
got to pick up that phone.
He like kills people, and then for every kill, he like
Cuts himself.
cuts a tally into his skin.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then of course, yes, the most exciting part of this movie probably, Ewan McGregor as Black Mask.
Like, what? I mean, seriously, the top of your list to cast Black Mask.
Yeah, Ewan McGregor, perfect.
Ewan McGregor would never be on my list unless someone said, what about Ewan McGregor? And I would go, okay, let's consider it. But like, I would never have thought Ewan McGregor as the crime lord of the mafia, Black Mask.
Yeah, dude.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Well, he can do anything he wants because he's going to be Obi-Wan again, so it doesn't matter. But
True.
that is so weird. Like, I don't think that's bad, but it's so weird.
You guys, have you seen the trailer yet?
I saw the original trailer, the one that ran in front of It Chapter 2.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I think there's another one now that's more general.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's basically all about Harley Quinn and her, I guess, breaking up with the Joker.
Yeah.
For some reason.
In the It Chapter 2 one, there's like a balloon and like a silhouette coming, and it's like, oh, it's Pennywise, and then she pops the blue and just goes, "I'm just so effing sick of clowns," because that is a hilarious joke, you guys.
Because it is a clown.
Mm-hmm.
And Joker
is
a clown.
Yeah.
I get it.
It's just, I was so moved to groans.
There were some funny parts in the trailer.
Oh, are there?
I was like, that's pretty funny. I don't know.
Do
Maybe
you want a Birds of Prey movie to be funny?
Yes, because the DC universe is a train wreck of serious garbage.
Well, you're right. Shazam's my favorite one so far.
Shazam is great.
And Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman had a lot of humor in it.
Yeah, they both did. And that's why they're up at the top of my DC.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, funny is probably better than the alternative, but is it going to be actually funny, or is it going to be like freaking, I mean, Suicide Squad had a lot of jokes in it. It wasn't funny.
Yeah,
it was just constant groans.
It's going to be that. Totally.
Well, more things to groan about.
Wait. And also, why do we keep going to Birds of Prey? Is it because we need more girl-led movies? Is that the only reason? Because I really don't feel like Birds of Prey is a top-tier DC property.
It's a cool concept, but they can't do it. The show sucked.
Yeah. Oh, the show's terrible.
I'm sure this movie's going to be bad.
I just can't believe we're talking about it this long.
You brought it up, technically. Technically.
Howie, what's wrong with you, Howie?
Yeah, I actually suggested we just continue on the topic of Star Trek ships.
That's true.
Was it Galaxy?
Favorite Star Trek ship right now? Favorite one?
Birds of Prey. The Klingon.
Which one?
Klingon Bird of Prey? You like the Bird of Prey?
Yeah.
It had that cloaking of capability.
It sure did.
As long as you got to take care of that exhaust.
Man,
that exhaust problem. You can track the exhaust.
Tough question.
I
think the easiest ones to go with the Defiant.
Defiant's really cool.
Yeah. Had them pulse cannons, I mean. But I feel like it's too easy. It's like the little nimble one that also had a lot of firepower.
I'm a big fan of Enterprise and the original Enterprise.
Like the Constitution class or the Enterprise class?
Galaxy class.
The Enterprise.
The show. So the Enterprise class.
Oh, the NX?
The NX.
NX, yeah.
Because
it was so young. It was so simple.
I really kind of liked the Voyager-esque Enterprise that was in First Contact. Had a little more of the arrowhead shape to it.
Yeah. Actually, my favorite's Cochrane's ship.
Just like the little warp jumper, the little warp frog. Whatever the heck that thing was called. I don't remember what it's called.
I like the Romulan Warbird, I think. It's just a cool design.
Do you like the double wing thing it's got going on that comes back around?
I got an ornament on my tree of that.
Yeah. I've never been a fan of the Galaxy class just because I hate the bullseye freaking deflector dish. The red and blue bullseye deflector.
But the saucer separates.
No, once. Didn't do it very well after that.
It did it a few more.
Yeah, it did it in Galaxies or Generations of Galaxies. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know which one's my
favorite ship.
I would
is
have
Deep
a clear
Space
answer.
Nine. That's my favorite ship.
That's not a ship. It's a station. You suck.
It moves.
Get good.
It has thrusters. It moves.
Your mom moves.
Technically a ship.
Technically your mom's a ship.
No, my favorite ship is the Borg cube.
Yeah.
I like how it's a cube.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cubesque.
Part.
It's like a Picasso alien. Cubist. Yeah, you like that cubism?
I do.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, Howie, what's next?
I'm actually going to look at some of these other ships.
I was just Googling Star Trek ships.
Yep. I am doing that right now because I'm like, I want to look at some now.
I really feel like I should have a better answer.
The Narada.
Narada's cool. That's the big ugly Romulan mining thing.
Yeah, that's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
What about the jellyfish? The thing that
The
Spock
space
had in that
jellyfish.
movie. Yeah.
What about space whales?
With the spinny-headed space thing.
The crystalline entity. That's my favorite.
From episode 1. Yeah, there you go. I don't know. I think, honestly, if I really stop and think about it, I think maybe what was the one in Star Trek 2 that Khan took over? Was that the Reliant?
Was that what it was?
And it had the nacelles that were kind of like on the same level as the dish, but like attached on top of the dish, like winged out to the warp nacelles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like that one just because it's like so
Reliant,
dopey looking that I like it.
Yeah.
I think it was Reliant because I'm hearing Chekhov and I'm like Reliant,
Reliant. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's,
No, my favorite ship was the Botany Bay. Botany Bay. We have to get out of here.
If I had to choose one to own, it'd probably be the Runabout because they're smaller.
Yeah.
And they have all the essentials you need, like warp drive, replicator, all that.
Yeah, you're right.
Transporter.
When you're right, you're right.
Cool.
But you don't have to have like a whole big ass crew to run it.
That's right. You
Yeah.
need like 1 or 2 dudes.
Yeah.
Or ladies.
Yeah, let's just get out. Let's go
Or
to a ball
aliens.
game. Take the runabout.
Warp drive, we're there.
I like the HMS Enterprise from the holodeck at the beginning of First Contact.
I like the aircraft carrier.
That's where you keep your nuclear vessels.
Star Trek 4, yeah, right.
Oh God, we've tumbled down that Star Trek thing, and it's not even April Fool's Day. Okay, we need to move this show on.
All right. But Scorsese.
Oh no, what are you guys
Yeah.
doing to me?
Your favorite
Martin Scorsese
is in the news.
He's old as F. Have you seen him lately?
Well, and you could tell by his most recent comments.
He just directed the Joker, right? That's what makes this funny.
Scorsese directed the Joker?
Didn't he?
Garrick, this is all you, man.
Fact check that. I don't know if that's true. I don't know how I missed that.
I'm looking.
Now I'm second guessing myself.
Well,
that was directed by Todd Phillips. I'm
okay.
sorry. Maybe he was commenting on
because I still kind of want to see it, and that would totally ruin it for me.
He's commenting on all superhero movies.
Oh, this will be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
buckle up.
So what it boils down to is
senile old fast talking turd has to say. Let's find out.
Someone was asking him about superhero films for some reason, and he said, "I don't see them. I tried, but that's not cinema. Honestly, the closest I can think of them as well, made as they are, with actors doing the best they can under the circumstances, is theme parks. It isn't the cinema of human beings trying to convey emotional, psychological experiences to another human being."
Wow.
And
burn.
I quote, "No, I'm Howard Hughes, the aviator," was a line in a Martin Scorsese film.
I'd quote something from Wolf of Wall Street, but I don't know if I can.
You don't know how he'll get it in post.
Yeah.
Another Margot Robbie vehicle.
Probably won't.
Oh, that's true.
I remember the fact that the movie trivia slides that used to play in front of the movies before we actually had like commercials and stuff that run like video before a movie, back when it was still just slides. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
There was a movie trivia for like, name this film where this thing happens. And the answer was Gangs of New York, a film that did not come out until 5 years later.
Wow.
Because Martin Scorsese was editing it for 4.5 years. That's not a joke. And by the way, if you're wondering what one of the worst movies of all time is, it's called Gangs of New York. Martin Scorsese, it was like the start of a blossoming hell friendship between Scorsese and DiCaprio. And let's throw in the method acting of Daniel Day-Lewis, because it's not pretentious enough already. Not that I don't like Daniel Day-Lewis. I do in certain things, right? Lincoln is great. Probably in Last Mohicans, but for some reason I still haven't seen that movie.
I know why I thought Scorsese did the Joker, because the the film was inspired by the films of Martin Scorsese. He was initially attached to the project as a producer, but I guess
so. What
and
you're
that's why
telling
they're
me
asking about it.
So it's 2 hours and 45 minutes long, and the third act is a completely different movie than the rest of it. Gotcha, nailed it. I am
pretty much.
Oh, flight landed already. How do you know?
Oh,
What happened?
That was quick.
I am an anti-fan of Martin Scorsese. I can watch the first half of many of his movies, but he can't make a cohesive story to save his life. So the second half of every movie that he makes, I hate. Like Goodfellas, love the first half, hate the second half. That guy is...
Do you think he does drugs? Because he knows a lot about drugs. Yes,
he does. Well, the dude talks like he just has he's got like Bane's Venom pack, but it's just full of liquid cocaine. Okay. That's not cinema. I was born into cinema. You just adopted it. Molded by it. He honestly, I feel like he is the single most overhyped director of all time is Martin Scorsese.
Oh, wow.
I feel like he is the Philip Seymour Hoffman of directing.
Dead?
No, he keeps going. It's not fair. I don't want him to die. I just want him to stop making movies. Make Leo work for a role.
So are these superhero, Marvel, DC, whatever, are they cinema? Yes. What is cinema, man? What does that even mean?
Yes, they absolutely are. And some of them actually are edited well and actually are a continuous story throughout the film, and they resolve.
You think they convey emotional, psychological experiences to other human beings?
Mm-hmm. I think they do. Like Iron Man dying after the 27th movie.
Spoiler.
I'm telling you, these guys, and I've heard Spielberg say things that are similar.
Yeah, he doesn't like Netflix. He doesn't think Netflix movies are cinema.
Yeah, that is. It's a big hang. These old guys are old, and it depresses me.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, well. You know what? If Spielberg wants to show up at our local theaters and actually check the sound and make sure the projectors are working, because I'm going to tell you right now, when I saw Downton Abbey, the right third of the screen had no magenta. It was just cyan and yellow. The third of the screen was just blue and yellow the whole time.
It's old-timey.
And that's fine, apparently, to charge me and my wife $26 plus snacks for that. If Spielberg wants to show up with a little toolkit and fix everything, then fine. I'll go to the theater to see everything. In the meantime, Netflix, it works correctly in my controlled environment.
All the time.
That's right. I don't remember the last time Netflix was down when I tried to. It couldn't have been much past that first year of the streaming.
I don't remember it ever going down.
Yeah. If it ever did, it would have been then. I don't recall.
Well, that's all we got for news.
Good. Screw that crap. Good. It's time for the Porkins, by the way.
Aw, Jim.
I don't know if y'all know this, but you know that show, The Goldbergs?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Love that show.
In that show, there's a group of people called the JTP.
JTP!
Well, not everybody in the JTP wanted to be on the show. What? In fact, you may not know this.
Is it Naked Rob?
But Barry's best friend, Matt Bradley, when he ran into him and said, "Hey, man, I'm making a show. You want to be on this?" He said, "No, I got a family. I got kids. I don't want you to embarrass me on TV." And then it aired. And people love the JTP.
JTP!
So Matt Bradley sent an email and he said, "I made the worst mistake of my life. You got to put me on the show." And that's why Matt Bradley joined the JTP.
JTP!
See the hippie?
Yeah. Well, it's funny. The first episode that he was on at the end, they do the clips at the end of every show of real footage from back then, or they circle things and say, this was real. It said at the end of that first episode with Matt Bradley, dedicated to the real Matt Bradley, Barry's best friend. I was like, if it's his best friend, why is he just showing up now? That seems kind of cold. But then
Barry's best friend, right?
Barry's best friend.
Not Adam.
Barry.
No, not Adam. Barry. And I was like, but then Porkins Kid said this just now.
Yes.
And it made perfect sense to me because he was actually there all along, but he didn't want to be included on the show. So yeah, Matt Bradley, he's the deadhead. The Goldbergs. is a television program on ABC.
Yep.
I was wondering if you're going to go ABC, but
Nope. That doesn't work that way.
no, it doesn't. It doesn't work. That takes place in the 80s. And when I say it takes place in the 80s, every episode takes place in the 80s, but the concept of the 80s is very different than how I originally approached it. Was with the wrong understanding entirely. Howie and Garrick would quote this show to each other, and I would sit in quiet fits of jealousy, raging because I couldn't take part because I freaking hated this show so much.
Oh.
Because every time I turn it on, I'm like, this doesn't look like the 80s. This is the 90s. Everything's bright and colorful, and this is like Big Bang Theory, as is to nerds, like this show is to the 80s. It's not accurate. No. It's this ridiculous portrayal, and I could not get into it. Is it Josh at this point?
Yes, Mike. Are you there?
Is there something you need from us, Mike? He's probably butt dialing us on Discord.
He's a cup of sugar.
Hey, you guys, can you send some crackers back this way? I'm an A27. But so I hated the fact that you guys would get so much enjoyment out of this show, and I could not find a way to enjoy it because it just was so obnoxious to me how it wasn't the 80s. There he is. Now he's making noise at us.
Hey, noise.
Hey.
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 I'm listening.
Oh, okay. Good. I'm glad.
I'm going to be kind of in and out. So you guys.
Gross.
You guys go.
Okay. Just like Garrick's mom.
The old in and out.
So the owl went out. So, well, when I find out I'm going to have surgery, I'm going to be like, not able to work for a week and stuff like that. I'm like, I'm gonna need some stuff to watch, and I want a sitcom. I want something that's light and airy that makes me laugh. And I couldn't think of anything because no sitcoms entertain me anymore. And I'm like, all right, Garrick and Howie freaking love this show. I'm gonna start at the top because that's also something I never did. I never watched first episode. I started like, I don't know, halfway through the second season, maybe.
Yeah, probably something.
And I was like, all right, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go in order. And 3 or 4 episodes in, I was hooked. Absolutely hooked. And it's not because there's any crucial information you need out of the first few episodes, but the thing that I got wrong about the show, because I thought, like that the show was just going to be constantly tongue-in-cheek joking about the 80s the way that 70s show did about the 70s. No, that is not an accurate description at all. In reality, this show is about the character arc of this family, and the family are just insane archetypes, right?
Yep.
But that's why it pays off to start at the beginning, because that way you're going through the whole thing with the family. You're going through their evolutions with them. The premises that tie into the 80s in every episode are completely random. There's no respect to time,
right,
in it whatsoever. And this is what I didn't understand. This because my whole promise is this doesn't even look like the 80s. This is all like 90s stuff. Is that for every episode starts like it was, December 17th, 1980 something. Patton Oswalt says at us. At least I think it's Patton Oswalt.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And the reason why they're saying it's 1980 something is because at the top of every episode they're going to tell you, accept this and get over it. Because it's not going to make sense if you try to make it. Because like second or third episode, Murray, the dad, he pisses off Adam, the main kid, and so he buys him a game for his gameplay thingy. He buys him Pitfall for Atari for 2600. And he's like, "This is for Atari. I have Nintendo," and his like little weird voice that he has. He has a Nintendo, which most kids did not have a Nintendo before like 87. Okay. I knew a kid who had one in like 85, 86, and it was the only one I'd ever seen in my life at that point. And this family was very well off. Okay. So Nintendo is a late 80s thing. And this is like the first couple of episodes. Okay. We're 5 or 6 years in and it's still the 80s. Right. And also like the next season, or no, like 2 seasons later, it's the episode where E.T. comes out on the 2600.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a minute. No, that timeline doesn't work at all. That is where this show is 2 things. It's this insane family evolution set to like almost like a chronological fantasy of the 80s. And the way I look at it, it's Adam F. Goldberg, who is one of the main characters, the youngest brother on the show, is the writer and creator of the show. And a lot of the stories, you know, like I would say probably the majority of the stories in the show are based on real things from his life and his family. Yeah. And the characters are based on his real life family with one major difference. They added an A to the end of his oldest brother's name. Yes. And gave it boobs. So, yeah, the oldest brother is a sister, and that they wanted to have a sister in the family. So that's a different. Eric is Erica. But it's like what you're doing is the way I came to accept it is it's like someone looking back to these weird things that went through their family and also just free associating them with other cool things from the 80s. Like it's like they're just recollections off the cuff.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, yeah, it was sometime around like, you know, first season, they're trotting out all of her old New Kids stuff that she has in storage. I'm like, New Kids didn't have it. They were hanging tough. It was 1989. What are people talking about? She's not over it yet. You know, and then she's got the Donnie Wahlberg thing from like the rest of the series, and it's still the 80s, still in her bedroom. And I'm just like, oh, no, that doesn't work. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Nope.
Think of it like it's just someone thinking back. It's just how they remember it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And memory's tricky.
Yes.
That's what I like about it.
Yeah, it's tricky. That's the song I was trying to think of.
It's tricky. I like how each episode is like an 80s sitcom, kind of. You know, you have your characters. There's a one major plot line. It goes bad, and then at the end it gets resolved, and everybody's happy most of the time.
There's usually like a you see Timmy moment where it's like somebody sits down and has a heart to heart. Yeah,
but it's sneaky. It's not like because there's no quote unquote live studio audience.
Yeah, it's not a multi-camera sitcom. It's like you're a single camera show.
They do it so well that you don't realize they're doing it, and you're just along for the ride. And you're like, oh, that's
but
great.
It's also, it's at the same time, it's a satire of that format.
Yeah,
because you see Timmy moments, there's always like a little twist or a gag that completely invalidates it. You know, and these are some of my favorite characters, and the fact that they're based on real people, and I want to play up that fact. That also, I never got to the end of an episode before.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that they actually, like, this dude actually somehow must have a room full of video cassettes.
Seriously.
Oh, yeah. Because one of the characters, this young boy, like, he's always got his video camera out, and the family's always yelling at him and stuff. At the end of almost every episode for several seasons, it shows an actual home movie side by side with the recreation that they had done earlier in the show. And you see that it's actually shot for shot accurate to the real things. Brilliant.
Yeah.
And that gives the show like this legitimacy. That's it's just for such a wacky show to be grounded in reality in that way is so different.
Yes. No, so let's talk about some of let's talk about the family. The main character is the family.
Okay. Adam F. Goldberg, and it's Adam F. Goldberg. I don't know why he has a Minnesota accent and no one else in the family does, but he does.
They're in Philly, or nearby.
Yeah. Adam F. Goldberg is the writer creator, and he's the youngest brother,
played by Sean
Gimbone.
Jabroni. Okay, and I'm gonna jump to his smother. They call her, his mom is played by the lady from Reno 911.
Wendy McLin.
The real person that his actual mother is on Twitter. They're both on Twitter. And she's hilarious. She'll comment after every show.
Well, know what? I've already found, I've only followed her for a couple days. Like she will reply in defense of Adam Goldberg on Twitter. He'll tweet something. The fans will, like, some fans or someone will comment or get upset about it, and then she'll jump on and defend him. And I'm like, oh my God, she's really her.
She's reading, she's reading all the replies. Yeah, it's gonna end anyone who says anything bad.
And then he's replying like, I'm an adult man, mother. You don't have to defend me on Twitter. And I'm like, this is like an episode of the show.
Like every now and then someone will ask you, you weren't really that bad, were you? And she's like, no, I was way worse. Way worse. They're dumbing it down.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like the guilt letter episode. I just watched that one a couple days ago where she teaches the other parents how to write guilt letters to manipulate their kids into letting them do parent things that the kids won't let them do anymore. And then at the end, the actress is sitting there with the real mom and holding a real guilt letter that she wrote and reading it. And it's every bit as bad as the ones in the show. It's amazing. And she even says, like, in the letter, she's like, I feel like I failed as a mother, which is one of her catchphrases throughout the show. So yeah, the smother, she's so in love with her children. She calls them all schmoopy, schmoo. You know what I mean? And they're delicious.
My squishy little jelly bean.
Yeah, squishy little jelly bean. Yeah, you need to make. I do this all the time now. We were at Hobby Lobby earlier buying candles, and my daughter's like, "Can we go soon?" I have to. Like that. And I turned to her and I made the hand motion. I'm like, do you need to make? And she just fell on the floor laughing because she loves the show too. That's our thing now. You got to do the hand motion. The poop. This is your hand's the potty and this is the poop going into the potty. I have never, the chick who plays the mom who plays Beverly, I've never liked her in anything before. It's not that I disliked her. Which
is part of the reason that you took so long to kind of get into it.
Yeah, I didn't really care for her. She is amazing. But okay, I'm trying to work my way around the characters. So then you got Murray. He's the dad who takes his pants off every day. As soon as he gets in the house, he takes his pants off at the front door and leaves them there and plops into his recliner.
Jeff Garland.
Jeff Garland, who used to be, he lived in Wrigleyville. He was roommates with Conan O'Brien.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh. I remember that from when he was on Conan like decades ago.
I've never understood this, but I knew it was a thing. The whole walk in the door, take your pants off, sit around in your underwear in front of your whole family.
Yeah. No.
And that's just a normal thing for a lot of families.
Yeah.
But it was so strange to me, when
my grandpa would wander, not in the evening, but in the morning, he would just wander around in his whitey tighties and a tank top.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, please stop. Please stop.
Get some shorts on.
Yeah. Yeah. But, so
he's hilarious. He's so high strung.
He's so high strung. And then I love it when he gets emotional, he can't use his voice. Like he can't speak aloud. Like he's like, I can't hear you. Say it louder. He's great, and his character takes a long time to really build up that depth. They don't rush it with him,
right? So
you get a lot of him being the disconnected dad who just everyone's a moron until later, and then it pays off more. But and then the eldest sister, who is Erica, based on Eric Goldberg in real life.
Now, how do you say? Is it Haley or Haley?
Dude, I have no idea. Haley.
Hayley.
I would say
Probably Haley.
Yeah.
Arantia, who has just released a music album.
She has an incredible voice, which is why that's part of the show, where there was a one afterward and during the end of the show, she was sitting there with Eric Goldberg. And she's like, do you sing or play in a band? He's like, no, I have no musical ability whatsoever. I can't sing at all. He goes, but I'm glad that your character can because you have a beautiful voice. So that's actually an original addition to the show because she is just that good. But that brings us to the last family member. And I saved him for last because this is the real reason why I got into the show. Barry Goldberg, a.k.a. Big Tasty. That in my life, and I've been around some high energy people, especially at Second City. There were some people that were trying to make the splash to get into the business. And they were coming in all guns firing. And it was like, you're trying too hard. I have never seen anybody commit with an energy that this psychopath commits to his character with and nails it constantly. I stress out. Because I'm sitting there thinking, does he have to go have a shower after every take? Does he have a bucket of ice that he dips his wrist into to cool his blood down? How does he do this? Is he going to die young? Because how can a human being be this on all the time?
His eyebrows are hilarious.
His whole face. My throat hurts. I'm getting too strenuous. He is amazing. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, it might be too much for some people, but he does it so well that I just am just constantly flabbergasted by his energy. I don't know how he can do it and have it be funny instead of annoying, but he does.
Yeah.
He does. I don't know how. But yeah, he is basically a character he's the big brother, likes to beat up on his little brother, but he's also like the biggest loser with the most confidence that ever lived.
And there's a bunch of unearned confidence.
Oh, just the most unearned confidence. And it is amazing. You know,
he has like in the show, he only has like 3 shirts he wears.
Yeah. He's got big orange. He's always got big orange.
He's got the weird stripe one with the collars.
Yes, yeah.
That's the reminds in the 90s.
That shirt.
Yeah, that's a 90s
That
look.
is a 90s look. And that's kind of the thing where I struggled. But I actually had that shirt, the vertical striped one with like the burgundy, the white, and the green. I had that exact shirt.
I probably did too. Everyone's very similar anyways.
Yeah. Also, one of the shirts that Schwartz wears, I had one of those as well. I think they came from Eddie Bauer or something. But so those are like the base characters, the main family. There are other characters that are also based on real people, and you get it like you'll watch an episode and not even think that this character that's in the episode is an actual real person. At the end, here's the real one right here. Mm-hmm. And so apparently there are several people who don't want to be on the show until the show starts, and they're like, okay, no, I kind of want to be in it. Can you make it me? But I like the fact that his girlfriend, one of his girlfriends, Adam's girlfriends in the show, her mom is played by the actual girl who was his girlfriend when he was a kid. And it was just like a one-time episode, but then they had more episodes with her, and so they just brought her back, and she's kept playing the character, Or even the coach from school, like, yeah, he's a real dude. And it just blows me away that they can be this autobiographical and people are supportive of it. I mean, I would think this would be like a network's worst nightmare. But apparently it works. And so when it comes to the 80s stuff, this is the thing where I had the biggest doubts about it, really, was how it would be legitimized when it seems so illegitimate. And the way they legitimize it is they're hitting everything. No stone is left unturned. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The first episode, I'm like, I had that GoBot toy. I forgot that was a thing. Yeah, the big gray GoBot that looked like an AT-AT knockoff. Yeah. And I'm like, I loved that thing. I forgot. That's like one of my best toys I had. One of the more expensive ones I had. And it's a GoBot, so nobody remembers it, especially the big GoBots. Yeah. But I was like, I want that now. I want to play with it right now. Here.
Give me my GoBot.
Had a little elevator in it when you stood it up. Man, it was awesome. It was awesome. Awesome. And I think I do get the member berries all the time, but
absolutely.
In a good way.
The way it works, I think the reason it works really is because the kid who plays Adam sells his passion for like he's a huge nerd. Mm-hmm. It's supposed to have a lazy eye, but
they always call you lazy eye bastard.
But it's like
I'm always looking for it. I'm like, I don't see it, except the one time where he forgot his glasses and he was like overdoing the lazy eye thing, and that was hilarious.
He sells his character's passion. Like his room, like you said, is filled with like Indiana Jones posters, Star Wars. They get a Tron poster, maybe.
Oh, the posters are on rotation in there.
All the paraphernalia in there. And
he had a Revenge of the Jedi poster.
Yeah, he
behind
did.
his door.
Anytime he goes to see a movie, he's always trying to drag his grandpa with him. And his grandpa's like, I have no idea what's going on, but okay.
Well, he wanted to go see Poltergeist. Speaking of last week's episode, he wanted to see Poltergeist, so he lied to his pops that they were going to see what was some kids movie. I can't remember which one it was. But the whole time, Pops is just confused because this is terrifying. Where's the mouse? I don't even. Oh man. But even the Die Hard episode, he went to go see like another Christmas movie that came out that year, but it was all sold out. And he's like, I don't know, I just want to see something Christmassy, man. The guy's like, oh, you can see that. And he's like, Die Hard? Yeah, how is that a Christmas movie? Like, oh, it takes place at Christmas. It's like, okay, fine. And immediately loves it. Right. And he gets the bootleg VHS and he's showing it to Pops. He's like, this is like the greatest movie. And it gets to the big scene. Yippee-ki-yay, melon farmer. And I got mad. This is the only time I got mad. And I immediately tweeted at Adam F Goldberg. I said, everyone knows the TV edit of Die Hard was Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon. This is heresy. This melon farmer business is heresy. He didn't reply. I was disappointed.
Oh.
I expected a comment because if you Google Yippee-Ki, it will autocomplete, yay, Mr. Falcon.
Mr. Falcon.
Well, there's a reason he didn't tweet you.
He hates you.
That could be.
He is no longer the showrunner.
He's no longer the showrunner?
What?
Stop.
Since
Yep.
when?
Since August. August.
Oh, this year. So this season, he's not the showrunner? Well, that
Yeah.
wasn't a this season.
Two people that have been with the show since the beginning are now the showrunner. He is now working for the mouse.
Oh, Disney
course
snatched
he
him
is.
up. Interesting. I wonder what they'll cook up.
Guess what?
Probably
where
got a
he's
Star Wars film, right?
No clue.
It's going to
They're
be
handing
under
this out
the
to
Disney Plus service.
Excellent.
Oh, because it's ABC.
Yeah, he already worked for the mouse, technically.
But he's working.
Okay, well, hopefully the show doesn't
More for the
suffer
mouse.
for lack of his involvement.
He's still going to be on as an executive producer or something.
You know, it'd be
like that,
nice
so.
if they actually had him in one of the things at the end because he's
Yeah.
never in any of them.
Right.
Everybody else is, but not
He
him.
actually looks similar to the guy who plays Murray. What's his name?
Oh, does he?
He kind of.
I was going to say Barry doesn't
Well, that's
look
his dad.
too different. Barry, adult Barry looks
Yeah.
kind of that way, but yeah. God, I could go on about the dude who plays Barry until I pass out.
That's hilarious.
I can't say enough. I've never seen a performer pull off what he pulls off. I mean, anybody who does his run, the way he like does his little like flappy butt run, where he flaps his hands behind his butt when he gets mad and runs up the stairs. You can't do that and have it not be completely stupid. And somehow he does it. And it's not completely stupid. It's hilarious every time. Because at some point they just don't acknowledge it. And he's still doing it. And his commitment. I've never seen anything like it in my life. He's brilliant. Brilliant. Everybody on the show is great, though.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite casts in TV right now.
Yeah.
Like this, Brooklyn
around
Nine-Nine and
cast.
this are like up there, top tier cast.
I wasn't
Please
sure
work
about
so well.
Erica early on. Because like I felt like didn't have as big a role to play early on. It was a little more about Adam and Barry.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Smother. But she grew on me a lot. Like she's actually got crazy comedic chops in addition to amazing vocal talent. And as I was saying earlier, her little gag that she does, like gag reflex, like when she's talking about something gross and she like I don't even want to like I can't do this because I don't think it can be done. And she does it so well that every single time I laugh. Like anytime that she does the little gag thing in the middle of a sentence, I start cracking up because it is like the most perfect gag sound. What a weird thing to get hung up on, but like she does it so well. This show is a riot front to back. I don't think I've seen a single episode that was like a cast-off episode. I think I've enjoyed every single episode.
I laugh out loud at least once an episode.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I'm blown away. And I'm scared now because I'm now watching the show week to week now. And now you're telling me that he's not on it anymore. And I'm like, I'm worried. Yeah. But the vacation episode they kicked off this season with the drive to Disneyland, which was definitely
National
Lampoon's Vacation, because the other thing is, I talked about how they have like real people and stuff in the end. For all the stuff that they do in the show, like whatever 80s thing they're hung up on in each episode, they'll pull real people in from those things.
Yes.
So in this example, this episode that just aired this past week, it's basically National Lampoon's Vacation. They even used footage from the movie and just edited in as if it was happening in the show in a couple points, like the station wagon jumping off the dirt mound or whatever. But like while they're driving, the red convertible or the red car pulls up and it's Christy Brinkley actually driving in the oncoming lane, and you remember the scene where Clark's like making eyes and making sure everybody else is asleep, no one notices and stuff. But instead Murray's like, what is she doing? This is so dangerous. Why is she doing? Like he's freaking out because there's this woman driving recklessly in left lane.
Why don't you just pass?
Murray, I think she's making eyes at you. What is she flirting? And then it's Christy Brinkley's older now. So Pops leans forward and he's like, no, she's flirting with me. Get your big head out of the way. And by the end of the episode, he's riding around and then Pops is in the car with Christy Brinkley. And so they get to Disneyland. They do the whole Chariots of Fire slow run thing in the parking lot, right? And they get up to front, and of course the park's closed. But John Candy's not with us anymore. So who's the security guard at Disneyland? Instead of John Candy at Wally World, it's Anthony Michael Hall, who played Rusty, is a security guard at Disneyland. And I'm just like, I love the fact, because Anthony Michael Hall is not a guy who's ever struck me as someone who wants to live in the past. His career has evolved. He's very different. He played the young nerdy guy for a long time, but then like by Edward Scissorhands, like he bulked up. He became like the jockey guy. And the fact that he was willing to do this, there's like, I don't know who's making the phone calls for this show, but it amazes me how many people, because they get people on the show that aren't the kind of people who just, they're not always the kind of people who just want another 15 minutes of fame. Right. They're people who are just looking at going, you know what, this is worth it. You know? Yeah. Well, and I think they're starting their 7th season. I know. It's legit. And the funny thing is, I don't hear except for Garrick and I. Yeah. You guys are the only ones I ever talk about the show. Yeah. And so, but I'm like, they have to have a huge following to get to 7 seasons. 7 seasons. I mean, they made it past the 100 episode mark. Nobody makes it that far anymore. Yeah. So they have a lot of people out there like really appreciate the show. And I think a lot of those people are like, yeah, I'm going to do it for this show because it's got what's right. Mm-hmm. It's got what's right. Here's the funny thing. Anthony Michael Hall's in the vacation episode. He's not in the Weird Science episode, but the guy who played Wyatt was. And they never call it out. They don't even say at the end. Yeah. You're just supposed to know that you're supposed to notice. Maybe you're not. Maybe they don't care, but it's there. They even brought Rick Moranis out of whatever he's in now to voice Dark Helmet again. Yeah. Yeah. Just for the Spaceballs episode. I believe Rick Moranis is mostly now retired and writing country music songs. Yes. He won a Grammy a few years ago. But yeah. And it's funny how all of these 80s themes I realize weave into my taste and everything. Obviously, I mean, this podcast started off as a Star Wars podcast, We're into the old stuff, right? And of course, Adam's obsessed with Star Wars too. But like I was talking to my kid about we're watching our creepy movies and stuff like that. I'm like, we're going to watch Little Shop of Horrors. And she's like, what is this? It's a musical about a plant that eats people. And she's like, okay. And she doesn't know anything about it. That night, I watch a few episodes of Goldbergs. And there's an episode where they literally sit down at a piano and perform Suddenly Seymour sitting at the piano. And also 2 different couples dress up as Audrey 2 and Seymour, or Audrey 2 and Audrey to go to the dance. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is the thing that I just was talking about earlier. Like that's happened several times in the last week and a half where I'll just talk about something and then boom, it's on the Goldbergs like an hour later. Yep. For me. So yeah, okay. When did you start watching? I believe I started the night before my surgery. So we're thinking I'm 2 weeks and a day. So you've powered through. And I got caught up before the episode aired this week. Yeah, over 6 seasons. Yeah. In that length of time. Wow. Yeah. I was literally just watching it end to end for hours. And they're not like 10 episode seasons. No, they're 22 episodes per season, full load. Half hour, but still. Yeah. No, it's great candy. That is what it is. It's candy, but then you get the little warm member berries, but then you start to care about these characters. There's enough depth there that you're like, yeah, I love these characters. Yeah. Yeah, like legitimately love these. Honestly, I've always liked Jeff Garlin, but I never knew he would be anything where I'd be like, I love Jeff Garlin. Yeah. It's always like, oh, that guy's funny. That role he plays it perfectly. It matches. Yeah. The episode where they have the career fair and he basically tricks Ben Schwartz, who is dating his daughter, to just come work for him at the furniture store for free because he has fake interns that he doesn't pay just to move stuff around for him. Come here. Don't do it. I feel like I have to. But then Barry goes to apprentice underneath Ben's dad, who's an optometrist, and Barry's an idiot, and he just brings him back the next day and wants to get rid of him. And Ben's having this whole like, he's not an idiot, he's a moron. Well, he's a moron. But Ben, who's a really smart kid, realizes he doesn't want to be an optometrist because he's just really enjoying moving furniture around and not getting paid for it. So he's talking to his dad, maybe I don't want to do this. And Murray, how could you do this to me? Just like Jeff Garlin the whole time, not involved. Not involved. And everybody keeps just dragging it back there. He's like, not involved. Oh, I'm just dying. All right, before we end, we need to talk about a couple of the superfluous characters. Yes. Like Pops. Pops is based on Pops, real Pops.
Grandpa.
And, the father of Beverly.
Smother. Yeah.
And it's great. This is another guy who I've seen him in several things before, and I've never liked him very much. And a couple of things I saw him in, I'm like, I really don't like this guy. I don't know if I didn't like him as an actor or if I just didn't like the characters, but in my mind it was I didn't like the way he was playing the characters, but they were also unlikable characters. I love him in this show. And honestly, as the show progresses, he's getting old. And I'm sitting there going, I don't know how all there he is, but he is still pulling off every line.
Yes.
And he's really the only voice of reason in the whole show.
Yeah, and
sometimes.
And
sometimes.
The relationship he has with Adam.
Yeah.
And all the grandkids.
Yeah.
Is it's a beautiful, grandfather relationship.
But he's got a special relationship with Adam, which is why there's an episode where Barry decides to steal Pops.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But how Pops will dress up in any kind of wacky costume for Adam to make a little movie with kids.
Exactly.
Like a Ninja Turtle. He's Optimus Prime at one point. Oh my gosh.
Let's talk about the father's brother. The uncle.
I love this dude. I love this dude.
Awesome.
I never see him.
Fanboys?
Yes, I never see him in anything, but every time he pops up, I go, yes, because he's got another manic energy that I love.
Yeah, that manic energy.
His manic energy to me always comes like he's getting ready to explode, but he never does.
Never does. Yeah.
It's always like he's on the edge of like exploding out, but he's keeping it just barely bottled in, and it's a real intensity. And I think his humor is just top notch because of that. And in Fanboys, he was hilarious.
Yeah.
He was the guy who owned the van.
Yep.
And
the Millennium
Fanboys.
Falcon van.
Yeah, the first time he shows up in this show, he's driving a DeLorean.
He's a main in Fantastic Beasts.
Oh, that's right. I always forget that's him.
That's right.
Yeah.
I always forget that's him because he's
the Muggle guy.
Yeah, he doesn't. He's playing it so well that he doesn't. If I forget that it's him playing it. Yeah. Wow. Thank you for that. But yeah, the first time he shows up, he's in a DeLorean, and he's so excited about buying the DeLorean. It's literally the day before the company closes down, and now and then the car breaks down, but he can't get parts because the company just shuttered, and that's his luck for the rest of the series. Whenever he shows up, like, he was taking everybody's money, investing it overnight. They make 4 times back because they invested in this electronics company, and it was the episode that ET came out, and to find out this electronics company makes these electronic doodads. It's called like Atari or something. He invests all their money in Atari right when ET comes out, and they all lose their money because Atari tanks. It's great. It's great. But then, like, the relationship between him and Murray and how Murray just can't stand everything his brother does, but he loves him. He's family. He's going to call him a moron.
Yeah.
He's not going to buy into any of his crap, but he's going to do what he can to bail him out.
And over time, there is you could tell there's a relationship progression.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, he's only probably in like 5 episodes.
Yeah, really. But he's such an impact to the series that you got to talk about him.
What about the staff at the school? They go to this private school that the teachers, they're like, almost all the teachers are based on actual teachers. The drama teacher, Miss Cinnamon, was based on a real
high school, the gym teacher.
The gym teacher. And he was interviewed once, like, and they're like, how do you feel about the fact? And he's like, well, sometimes, my kids are always asking me, like, the show's on the next day. They're like, was that real? Was that real? And I'm like, I don't think so. It could have been. He said they don't play dodgeball anymore, and the kids, after watching the show, wanted to play dodgeball, and so he had to get the dodgeballs out, and they had to bring back dodgeball.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because the kids wanted to play it. I'm like, yeah, but what about scooter ball? I don't recall a lot of scooter ball in high school. I remember scooter ball in elementary school, maybe middle school, not high school so much.
But then the high school counselor.
Yes, Tim Meadows.
Perfect role for him.
Now here's someone else. Tim Meadows. There are certain things I love Tim Meadows in, like Dewey Cox, the Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story. Yeah. But I also have always been annoyed by Tim Meadows, the guy who overstayed his welcome at SNL. You know what I mean? Everybody was gone. Tim Meadows like, I got no place else to go. And I remember when we went to go see the Team Coco show, me and my wife went to Chicago, and we're hearing about like, oh, the show in LA last night, like John Bon Jovi showed up, and like all these like famous people showed up were part of the show, but it was unannounced. And Kathy's like, who do you think's going to be like our celebrity shows up? And I'm like, well, we're Chicago, so I don't know, Tim Meadows probably. And she's like, it won't be Tim Meadows. Tim Meadows was a celebrity. He walked on stage, and I screamed bloody murder. All the people around me thought I was happy, but I just literally screamed in anger that I was right. That all these shows, we're hearing about these major stars showing up, and we get Tim frickin' Meadows shows up, and my wife goes, I can't believe you got that right. And I said, I just knew it. I knew it was going to be crappy, whatever it was. I have come to like Tim Meadows way more since then, and this show is definitely part of why. No, it's not just this show. There's other things. I used to be real sour on Tim Meadows. I actually really like him now. I really do. But he is perfect in this role as a guidance counselor who is scared to death of these kids' mom because she's always marching into the school to be mad about something that's happened to her schmooze. Oh my gosh.
And you can tell he's always wanted to be something else. This is not where he wanted to be in life.
Yeah.
It's always something else.
Well, yeah, he actually does have a friend named Jesse, and he really does pine for his girl. And she will be his. Also the gym teacher's brother, who takes over as a gym teacher when he leaves.
It's Goldberg.
Yeah, they brought in Goldberg on the Goldbergs. And,
the wrestler.
Yeah. It's hilarious because he's wearing those super tight little 80s shorts. He's good. It works. And the principal, played by the actor I could never remember the name of, but I'll just call him Ned Ryerson. Come on, Case Western High, buddy. Needle Nose Ned the Head. Now, don't tell me you don't remember me, because I sure as heck fire remember you. All right. Sorry. I love that guy. I've only ever seen him in one thing I didn't like, and it was because he was playing a really rapey dude on Law and Order. So,
that's
Must have been an SVU episode.
I think it was either early SVU or right before they started SVU. I don't remember, but he as the principal is just phenomenal. Like, I love it when they break character the way of the writing. Like, they're going in, they're trying to like. Barry didn't do enough community service to graduate, so they want to put on like a skater show and get the cast of Breakin' to come be in their skateboard exposition. And he's like, but what if I could tell you that we got Turbo? And he's like, not Turbo. Like, leans forward and knows all about Turbo from Breakin'. I'm just dying. Like the writing on the show, it's like. They know when it's funny to just completely break a character. It always is just trying to catch you unawares like that. And it's so good. So good. Man.
Anything else that we should touch on? Go watch it is what I say.
Yeah.
Watch that Goldberg. It's on Hulu
there's
or
really
something?
Hulu.
I don't know where you watch things legit.
Really like a drought of solid comedies like that don't have a laugh track. I hate laugh track.
Yeah. No,
that group. I love this.
The only show I watch with a laugh track is The Ranch. And that one, I'll fully admit, you got to take it with a grain of salt, you know? But also the fact that the mom drops an F-bomb in literally every episode.
It's bleeped out, but it's awesome.
They bleep it and they
blur.
pixelate her mouth, and it becomes such a gag that there are times where she's walking away and they pixelate the back of her head. I die every single time. I think there was like one time where it was like an animated version of her or something, like, or a puppet version, and they pixelated the mouth.
It's great when Erica's like in the room. She's like, Mom, we're not.
Yeah.
Just like how they react.
Well, I like it when she finds out the kids are talking. She's like, I did not raise you to talk like that. Or no, Adam says it to her.
Yeah.
Where did you learn to talk like that? I learned it from watching you, okay? I learned it from watching you. She goes, I have never in my life. And they're like, no, you pretty much do every day. And then it does like a quick montage of her just dropping the F-bomb. And she's like, okay, I guess maybe sometimes. But only when I'm really upset. So funny. Oh my gosh. Jeez. I mean, I don't know who makes the show. Everybody makes the show.
Yeah. You can't sit here and say, okay, it's this one thing.
Barry was my hook.
Yeah.
The kid who plays Barry.
And that's an easy hook because he's
there's nothing like him.
Yeah.
There's nothing like him.
And he's hilarious.
He is. Big tasty. But honest to God, you know, as I watch through it, I don't know. There's nobody I'd give up, you know?
Yeah. It'd be pretty sad to lose
Now we
Some
did
of this
lose
may-
somebody. The
But we gained
girlfriend,
something else.
the girlfriend between seasons was recast. And well, I shouldn't use that word
Which
because
girlfriend?
the second one, the one who was older,
Okay.
Adam's older girlfriend, she left to go do other stuff.
Yes.
And so they
I thought
had
they
to,
recast her.
yeah.
'cause she
Well,
looked
they
so
did it real
different.
smartly. When she came back from the summer, she'd gone goth.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah,
her hair
that's
was
right.
colored and she had different makeup. And so it took a couple episodes for them to work it back down to normal.
Yeah.
By that time, you might already been used to her. If you were watching it week to week, especially instead of like, minute to minute like I was. But yeah, it was, they didn't kick her off the show. The girl just wanted to go do other stuff. She didn't want to continue. So, yeah.
Her loss.
Now, the first girlfriend is back this season. Adam's first love is now back. The one who moved to Seattle.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
And I actually saw her in a trailer for a movie that's coming out. So I think that explains that. She left for a couple of years and then just
She was
had
in
one
the
or two
first
episodes.
season of Gotham.
Okay, was she?
Oh, yeah. Maybe she moved to Gotham and then came.
That could be Gotham was Seattle. I think everybody knows that. It's all the rain.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah. The hippies.
The
It
new
does always
Seattle.
rain there.
Yeah. See? But Batman's always wet. Oh, wait, no,
Yeah.
that's because he's out in the lawn sprinklers at 3:15 every morning or whatever. I'm not going to go into that Imager gag. That one doesn't get enough love anymore.
Nope.
Go watch the Goldbergs. Please.
Goldfob.
The show is insane. Do not pay any attention to the timeline. I mean, at
You'll have
all.
a bad time.
Yeah, it's not about that, which is why every episode they literally say it was April 17th, 1980 something.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter. Just go roll with it and enjoy the family in this goofy, nonlinear setting of the 80s. And hopefully
Yep.
you'll enjoy it as much as these two guys do and as much as I
Yeah.
am enjoying it now. So,
I have special closeout music. So
oh boy, hot dang.
Ooh.
Oh, hot
Can't
dog.
wait.
Well, then let me get right to it. Won't you run out, follow us?
Flowish.
Follow us on. I need to get more drugs at Fly Casual 1138 on Twitter, where you will find the link to our Discord, where we would love to hear from you and tell us, are you like us and tweaking your nips on the Goldbergs, or are you like I was and just can't get past some weird hangups? Because if that's the case, I hope to convert you so you can be as happy and excited as I am.
Woo!
Run out Facebook. Yeah, you look for us there, around there somewhere in the YouTubes. I don't know, whatever. But in the meantime, run out and get us a nice little review wherever you get the podcast. We can reach more listeners just like you.
Yeah.
In the meantime,
You.
I'm Corey, over there's Howie.
Yo.
Over there's Garrick.
I'm here.
That's right.
And now I'm not.
JTP.
JTP.
Jelly.
Didn't do it, Howie.
JTP.
JTP. Theme song. Theme song.
I don't know the future, but the past keeps getting clearer every day.
Are we allowed to do this?
Sure.
That's why we
Found
cut
it
it off
free.
there.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'll just do this.
It was free on the internet.
It was like 18 seconds.
You're gonna have to cut 3 of that out.
No, I spoke over the last 3 seconds. We're fine.
We're good.
Oh, nailed it.